This weekend, or did you end up? Did you feel like you had questions answered this week, last weekend, or more questions created?
We played a lot of different people. We put a lot of people in some different spots. I think we ran a different lineup virtually every game. I like where we landed with Danica Coffey and Sierra Briggs at the top. I thought that was effective. But I think we're still learning this group. They're young. They want to be great. They almost want to be great too badly at times. So I think that we're learning, and we knew that these 6 games would hopefully show us about them, but also create a whole new list of things that we need to tackle in practice this week, and it obviously has.
It seemed like the offense was mainly Georgia and Shelby Sensory for a good bit of the games this weekend. Finding the ball, getting into a rhythm, kind of the approach right now.
Yeah, I think Sierra Briggs was our leading hitter this weekend, which, she did a really good job at the top of the lineup as a table setter. And then love what we saw from Shelby Sinceri and Georgia Clark. I think, those guys they're the 2 oldest players in the lineup. They're, our lone junior and senior in the lineup. So I think those 2 are going to lead us by experience. And they've had a lot more opening days than the rest of the group. So I think they were able to continue to rely on them. But I was really happy with what we got out of both of them.
What led to Sierra being the in the one hole to start the lineup? Like, was that already predetermined before the season, or did you see something coming up towards the opener?
Yeah, I think, she's well suited for that. I think Danica Coffey was really strong all weekend too, and I think Sierra has so many different weapons. She can bunt, slap, hit for power. She can do so many things. She can have a really productive at bat there in the 2 hole, and I think that's why we ended up there at the end of it. So I think the 2 of them together are a great combination. Brings a lot of speed, puts a lot of pressure on defenses. So I liked having them there, and I think we'll see some good production out of them together whenever we can group them up like that in the lineup.
What's your thought about the competition for your younger players who are freshmen this weekend in terms of challenging them, but also not wanting to break their confidence?
Yeah, we actually we're having a meeting about that, about direction to go to practice today. It's, where are we with them? Do we keep challenging them? We've been challenging them, or do we need to remind them how great they are? Because they're really talented players. Like, it's a catch-22 a little bit of how much challenge do you give them versus how much reinforcement are we going to give them this week too, to just remind them that they're great. They've never been in these spots before. And then I also think the depth of our roster is awesome, but I think it plays with your head a little bit, and you're wondering, is it going to be me in the next game? Am I going to get the next at bat? Is this my only at bat, and I have to do everything right here in this moment right now? I think there's different pressures that are from the inside, not even created by the other teams we're playing, because of the depth of our roster. So I think there's a lot of things, and I think we'll try to balance both this week in practice. We'll try to challenge them, and I think we'll also try to just give them some opportunities for success, to remind them, they're here for a reason, they're great for a reason.
Beth, you talked about Shelby Wickersham pitching well. Ray Lynn was probably a big question mark in your mind coming in as a freshman. How did she respond, and how does that look for her going down the road?
I liked what Raylan did. I thought she was really strong. I think we see some things she can continue to work on, and obviously she's going to keep growing. But I thought she had good command. And when you talk about nerves, she might have been the least nervous person we had out there. I was so shocked by her response, or if she was, she hit it really well. But I thought she was one of the highlights. I thought Shelby Wickersham was one of the highlights of the weekend. It was nice to have her show up the way she did and give a really strong performance. I think we've been looking for that from her for a while now. So it's nice to see her back in her form where, she's capable of really great things on the mound.
I do.
Oh.
I do want. And just touching on Shelby Sinceri and Allie, going to 4-7 for those first couple of games, how was that for their opening days, and what did you like in seeing them going forward with that as well?
Yeah, Shelby and Allie are both just incredible pitchers, and we're lucky to have both of them. I think Shelby Sinceri is in a really good spot. I think she's worked really hard this offseason to be a little different than she was last year. She's added some things that I think will keep people off balance, that you know, I think will be a little unexpected. So I'm excited to see what kind of season she has. And then obviously we saw she's in a good spot with her offense as well. And then Allie Kilpona is just a great competitor. She's going to keep battling for us. And, you know, I think the two of them just will continue to lead us. I know they were frustrated at times too and just wanted more for the team. They, you know, when we got to the ballpark on Sunday morning at the crack of dawn for the early game, they were already there studying the film, trying to do everything they could. So it's not for a lack of want or a lack of effort with this group. They're there all the time. Our staff's there all the time. They're working. They're trying. At some points, it's maybe even overboard on how much they want this for LSU and for their teammates. So I'm really proud of those two young women, and I think they're going to have a great year.
Yeah, I guess maybe to that point, Georgia had some pretty strong words. I mean, do you almost have to guard against too much pressure, you know, week 2 of the season?
Yeah, I think they create a lot of it for themselves because they just want this so badly. You know, I think they just want to be so great, and you know, the expectations aren't even from the outside world anymore at this point. They're from themselves, just wanting it so bad. I mean, this team works as much as any team I've ever had. They put the time in, they try to prepare. You know, now they've got to just let themselves play. And I think that's what, you know, as coaches, we've got to do a better job of figuring that out. How do we keep them in a spot where they're loose and they're aggressive and they're, you know, they're not so tight that they can't fight, right? They're like, it's not that they don't want to fight or they don't want to battle. They just also don't want to screw up and want to win so bad that it makes them press. So I think, you know, as a coaching staff and as the leader of this group, that's something that I've got to tackle moving forward because it's not for a lack of want or a lack of effort. That I can tell you.
Thank you.